Hi guys! Welcome to the end of February. I cannot believe how fast this month went. I am here with a brand new Take 5. This month's prompts are from Kira, and the first prompt is green. And it feels kind of right walking into March with a little bit of green. So I took my MUNGYO watercolor set, which I'm still not sure if it's actually pronounced that way or not, so sorry. And I just used all the greens that I had. Of course, I started out with a little bit of yellow. Oops, totally grabbed blue instead of green. Well, let me just mop that up. And yeah, there we go. Back on track with my green. I'm being all sloppy. I do have a plan, a little bit of a plan, a little bit of inspiration um, from from something that I saw earlier on, and that's fun. These were intended to be squares also, but then I was just like, let's just let them run into each other. Let's not be so careful and so. I did film this at the very beginning of February. As some of you may or may not know, I am currently in Chicago for a planner conference, but I absolutely could not leave home without doing this month's prompts. I'm really excited. They're very reminiscent of the what I like to call vintage Take 5, and that's just because this challenge has been around for quite some time. Kira made it up one day for herself to grab 5 blind prompts and create a mixed media piece using that just to challenge your creativity and try something different, and sometimes some things that you wouldn't normally gravitate towards. And that's exactly why I love this challenge. I love challenging myself and doing something different, doing something new, and coming up with inspiration for future projects. So, if you don't know, Take 5 eventually became something where Kira asked a few ladies to join, and then it kind of grew, and now there are 12 of us all around the world that participate on a monthly basis, and each month one of us picks the 5 prompts, and we work 1 month ahead. So right now, you guys are seeing the prompts for the month of March, and we created them during the month of February. And that is how we do it every month. Okay, guys, prompt number 2 is napkin. This napkin was sent to me along with a whole bunch of other ones. I believe this is from like Jane Davenport for Michaels. Shanice sent me these, I am pretty sure, and she knows that I'm totally obsessed with Jane Davenport, but also my obsession started a little bit later when some of her products were no longer available. So very important to take off that first layer, or else you're going to have stuff, popping up. I end up cutting some of the faces that didn't have color already. No specific reason, I just like those faces more. I do have Jane's stamps, but since the prompt is napkin, I was so excited to find these in my box of goodies because I actually don't open that box very often. It's kind of like a box of scrap papers, but without them being scraps. Anyways, I'm cutting them out, and we'll see what we do with them. We'll see how this page comes together, because honestly, I like to think that I had a plan, but it's not very detailed plan, and sometimes things don't work out for me, especially when I'm using faces. I have been known to cover up 1 or 2. And of course you can see all of my messy bloopers and other Take 5 projects in the playlist, and I hope that you do, because I am very proud of all of those projects and I am excited to share. So we're gonna glue these down with some matte medium, which actually I haven't touched in quite a bit, so I'm excited to open it up and make sure that it still works, and it does. I grabbed this little cheap fan brush, and it worked out really, really well. Usually I use a round brush, and but this was awesome. So this is definitely about to become my matte medium forever brush. So this just acts like a glue where it just seals it in, and so literally the napkin almost becomes like the paper. I'm pretty sure I did not mention that I did not prep this page with gesso, only because I knew that I was going to be working with watercolor, and watercolor on gesso, it can be done, but it just takes a lot of layers of watercolor, so I opted not to, and I just left it as is. And if you don't know, I'm using one of the large Ranger Distress, I think it's a Distress, it's a Ranger for sure, journal, and of course you can find that and everything that I use in my Take 5 in my Amazon storefront, which is linked down below. That is an affiliate link, and I do get a bit of a kickback. However, that does not reflect upon the prices that you pay. So that would be super duper if you go check it out. I keep it really organized for you. And I am using tissue paper as well. The prompt said you could use either napkin or tissue paper. I ended up using both because in my stash I found this star tissue paper, and I think I've used this in a different page. Don't remember which one, but I do like it, and it fits, so why not? So I've talked about this a lot in the past. A friend of mine introduced me to this challenge via Instagram, and I was so excited and just in awe of what the ladies were doing back then, and how inspiring and creative the challenge was. However, I was just fangirling, and I was definitely not looking to start mixed media. But then I slowly started buying some materials and just some essentials, and then I started, participating in it from a fangirl perspective, meaning that I wasn't actually part of the ladies that do the prompts. And that was absolutely awesome, though, because I submitted my videos to Kira, and she makes a playlist every month. And so a lot of people got to see my projects, even though I wasn't really part of the group. And then eventually, there was some spots available, and I was picked to join. So that was like dream come true. And if you're wondering, no, I will never ever leave this group. So you can have my spot. Prompt number 3 is flowers. Um, but just because the 12 spots are currently occupied doesn't mean that somebody won't have other projects that they'll need to move on from the and that's what has happened. I think when I came onto the scene, somebody had to leave because they were writing a book and just other projects, and that's awesome because that's why I like to call it Vintage Take 5, because I still watch those videos for inspiration, and that's awesome because all of the videos kind of live right there on YouTube for all of that. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what I'm doing. So I have these acrylic stencils that I got from wish.com, and there were a whole bunch in the set. And so what I'm doing is I'm taking my little dabber thing here and going in with some ink. Now this is a pro tip. This is how I store my little pads so that they stay with each color. There's a space underneath because these inks are actually like stackable. So I don't keep them stacked. I keep the little pad in there, and it's awesome because each one of my colors has their own pad. Now that I'm all done and this is dry, I'm going to go in with my watercolor because I was just dying to get in there with some watercolor, and just add some details to the hair and the eyes, the face, a little bit to all of these girls. And I know there's an art rule about threes, but I can never adhere. Okay guys, I've got my metal ruler, which is the only way I cut washi tape, which is prompt number 4. And I have an extensive washi tape collection now. I did not a year ago, but things happen. And so it was hard coming up with like which ones I wanted to grab for, and um, Jane Davenport has some washi tape, but I didn't end up using any of hers. I don't really know where these all came from. I'm really sorry, but Michaels, AC Moore, Etsy, who knows, gifts, and miscellaneous. This was one of my favorites. This little one, actually, I think this little thin one is one of Jane's from an old collection, and this one might be one also, this blue. The blue one had some writing on it, so I had to get a little creative. And another pro tip, metal ruler for washi tape. It is awesome and it keeps everything nice and straight. This metallic one is like my favorite, but it's actually from like duct tape, I think, is, or Scotch brand. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I should stop talking about where this washi tape comes from. To layer it and to add a little bit of texture, which is like my favorite thing to do with mixed media, I I'm not being so careful with the way I'm cutting it. I'm just tearing it off, which is a fun contrast for me. And then I'm bringing back the washi from the top corner for the bottom corner. I didn't intend to use so much washi tape, but and there did come a point where I was questioning whether or not I was using too much. But I'm okay with the final result. Okay, so I have this dilution spray, which makes a huge mess for prompt number 5, which is Splatter. I just pulled it out and tried splattering it this way. It wasn't doing what I wanted it to do, so I kind of give up and move on. See, for splatter, I usually grab my white ink, which is my absolute favorite, and it's also my trusty companion. I think I've splattered every single one of my Take 5s last year. Alrighty then, that is all done. 1 through 5. I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave comments down below, and please, if you decide to participate, don't forget to tag us with hashtag Take5 so that we can see and add you to the playlist. Thanks so much. Bye. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. Don't miss a thing. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.